Have you ever stopped to think about how someone can be speaking the exact same language as you, but using completely different words? Well, today we're going to dive into that. We're exploring how English, just one single language, has created these three distinct worlds of vocabulary across the UK, the USA, and Australia. It's going to be fun.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll meet our guides, then we'll jump right into the good stuff, food, clothes, and just getting around. And then at the end, we'll wrap it all up and figure out what it all means.
So, first things first, let's meet the folks who will be guiding us through these different flavors of English. We've got Lucy from the UK, Vanessa from the USA, and Emma from Australia. Now, they all speak English, obviously, but as you're about to find out, their everyday words can be so different, sometimes hilariously so. Let's get into it. Okay, let's kick things off at our first stop, the kitchen. This is where some of the most common and, let's be honest, most confusing vocabulary differences tend to pop up. Let's start with the real classic. Just take a look at this picture. A simple, salty, crunchy snack. But what do you call it? The answer to that question opens up a whole can of worms. Okay, so in the UK, these are called crisps. But if you're in the USA or Australia, you'd call them chips. Seems simple enough, right? Well, hold on, because this is where it gets really interesting, when you add a little heat. Because that word chips comes right back into play, but it means something totally different. What the British call chips are what Americans call French fries. And to make it even more specific, Australians call them hot chips. So one person's chips is literally another person's crisps. Crazy, right?
All right, on to another classic food fight. In the USA, this sweet treat is a cookie. But in the UK and Australia, you'd call it a biscuit. And you have got to be careful what you ask for in America.
Because a biscuit in the US is a whole other beast. As Vanessa points out, you're not going to get something sweet. You're going to get a savory, fluffy, bread-like thing that's usually served with gravy. Definitely not what you want to be dipping in your cup of tea.
All right, let's step out of the kitchen and into the closet. You see, picking the right word for your clothes can be just as tricky, and a little mistake here could be, well, let's just say a little awkward.
Let's start with what you wear on your legs. In the US and Australia, they're pants. Simple. But in the UK, they're trousers. And trust me, you need to know this. Why? Because in the UK, the word pants means underwear. Okay, get ready for this. This might just be the most important and maybe the most shocking vocabulary lesson of the day. We are talking about simple beach footwear. In the UK and the USA, we call them flip-flops. But in Australia, they're called thongs. And that changes everything. So just imagine an Australian in London or New York saying they're just going to slip on their thongs for the beach. You are going to get some very strange looks. As Lucy says, in the UK and the US, a thong is a G-string. It's a very specific kind of underwear. Definitely a hilarious and potentially very embarrassing mix-up. All right, let's head outside now and see how the language shifts when we start talking about the world around us. From the cars on the road to the very ground under our feet, the words are always on the move.
Take a look at this big vehicle. In the UK, it's a lorry. In Australia, a truck. But head over to the US and it's a tractor-trailer or a semi. This one actually kicked off a bit of a friendly debate.
I love this. Vanessa from the US was so confident in her answer that she brought receipts. Her evidence was her son's picture books. It just goes to show you how deeply personal these words feel to us and how sure we are that our word is the right one. Which I think is a fantastic point. It's a great little reminder that even for native speakers, language can be a passionate topic, and sometimes you've got to bring out the books to prove you're right. So, what about the path you walk on next to a road? Well, in the US, it's the sidewalk. In the UK, it's the pavement. And just to keep things interesting, in Australia, it's a footpath. And what about when your car is running on empty? In the UK and Australia, you go to a petrol station for petrol. In the US, you pull into a gas station for gas. And no, the fuel isn't actually a gas, it's just short for gasoline. So, after that whirlwind tour through kitchens, closets, and city streets, what's the big picture? What have we really learned here? Well, the biggest takeaway is that context is absolutely everything. There's not one single correct English, just different flavors that have grown over time. We saw that American English can sometimes be a bit more literal, think rain boots, and as the whole thong situation proved, travel can definitely lead to some funny moments. The best advice? If you're ever in doubt, just describe what you mean. And this really gets to the heart of it. We started with one language, English, and from that one source, we get at least 3 vibrant, distinct, and constantly changing ways of speaking. It's pretty amazing.
I think Lucy just sums it up perfectly right here. It's the same language, sure, but it's spoken with these wonderfully different accents and vocabularies, and each one has its own unique story.
And so that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. If a language is really defined by the people who speak it, then does one single correct version of English even exist? Or is it all of these incredible differences that truly make the language come alive? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.